All right, guys, we got some juicy content here on the Big Time Studios early AMA. This is a private Big Time demo right here, exclusive access private demo. You're going to want to stick around because they're talking about the play to earn mechanics and some juicy hidden economy that they were explaining in this AMA. Somebody inquired about the Big Time token that only drops in game. Who can earn it? What is it for? And then Ryan came up and said something about how that part of the economy hasn't even been discussed yet. I hope you guys stick around for the entire AMA because some pretty insane stuff was talked about in this game.
The very well as the time itself. And a little disclaimer that this game is still under development, so you can see a lot of temporary artwork or placeholder assets. You're going to see either unshaded or gray box levels, so please, please, please put on your dev goggles when you're evaluating the game. Also, I just want to welcome Shirley. Shirley's also part of the team too. Shirley's been doing an amazing job, sending out invitations to everybody. I believe you might have gotten an email from Shirley, kind of just like a little notification 4 hours in advance about the demo. Okay. With that said, I'll introduce you as to where we are. So, where are we? We're currently in the adventure zone, known as Time's End. And Time's End is the last planet at the end of the universe, littered with the Blight, the insectoid species of Big Time. And just a little precursor, we have some people around us. I'm going to kind of introduce classes and, kind of get that show going, okay? So if you look at Alias to my right, Alias is currently a Time Warrior. Now, just like your traditional MMO, the Time Warrior is similar to the Warrior. They're responsible for, getting up close and personal. They do a lot of melee damage. They mitigate damage from your team, as well as draw aggro from enemies. Hey, welcome, Ryan. Ryan's also here as well. Payne, I know you have some questions for him. I'll wake you guys up in a bit. Okay. Uh, after Alias here, who's the Time Warrior, we also have Mike D. Beastie, who's playing the Quantum Fixer. Now, the Quantum Fixer is responsible for healing and supporting the team. It's kind of like the traditional healing-based class in your traditional MMO. With a bit of a twist, they have a sword a hammer and shield combination that they can use to pummel enemies down as they wish. I'm currently playing the Chronomancer. The Chronomancer is your traditional mage-based class, responsible for long-range damage, elementals damage, fireballs, and the like. And then we have the Shadowblade class, which I will show and kind of demo a small part of what I'll speak on to later, which is a timeline system. The Shadowblade is basically equivalent to the Assassin, base class in your traditional MMO. They're quick, they're nimble, they get in and out of combat pretty quickly, and yeah, all around, the Assassin-based class. That's the Shadowblade. With that said, we're going to look for a dungeon right now. Please keep in mind, as mentioned earlier, that please put on your developer goggles on. The portals will not be like out in the open like this at launch. This is just temporary for the sake of the demo build. If at any points you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask, and I'll be glad to answer them. A little aside, Ryan, Pay to Play, does have a question for you in regards to some footage they were provided and how the NDA applies to that. I don't know if you want to unmute real quickly and ask about that.
Hey, so the reason why we had the NDA was to make sure the footage didn't leak before we were ready to kind of do our marketing pushes. So it's not a super big deal anymore about the NDA in the video. You can post it whenever you feel like it's good. So probably like right now is ideal. So earlier is definitely better.
Does that help answer your question, Paige?
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. All right, so now we're entering in a portal. Again, so parties, just a heads up, in Big Time can be up to 6 people large. And there are currently 4 classes, as displayed earlier. Big Time is working on expanding the number of classes available, so 4 will be available at launch, with Big Time constantly adding in new content, new classes, and so on. So, now we're inside of a dungeon. Where are we? We're at the Planet Burner, the remains of a mile-high planet-eating robot, and the one that has fallen in this area created a geothermal event in the wake of its destruction, and we're going to enter it and find some loot. Little neat thing about Big Time's dungeon system is that it is procedurally generated. So what does that mean, procedural generation? Procedural generation basically means that, your dungeon playing experience is going to differ each time that you go in. You're never going to have the same experience. The quests, the monsters, the sort of enemies that you'll be coming across overall, the layout of the dungeons will all be different each time you enter. That is what procedural generation is. So it's never going to be stale going in. In this case, you can look at the top right on my screen. I have a mission objective, which is disarming one bomb. And as we get to these next set of mobs, I'll start discussing a little bit about combat. So, Big Time, like any other game, has a combat system, right? You're able to do a bunch of left clicks, in succession, and you can, pull off a succession of attacks. In Big Time, though, we also have a combo system, right? So instead of just doing left clicks a bunch and, proceeding through that, you can also do, if you look at the bottom of my screen, you see these like 4 white circles show up. And this is the combo system. If at any point during this, during the left click process, I do a right click, I can execute one of the combo things and basically elicit a different ability. Different combinations can lead to different effects, such as stuns, repels, or even, healing your HP back or regaining your HP. So you'll see as I go through this, I'll probably just hit a right click right here. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And you can see I'm doing multiple slashes as opposed to just, left clicking it all the way through. And the like. Mike or Alias, if an item drops, please let me know, and we can introduce a little bit about the item system. Big Time is dynamic, and it's emphasis on fast action-paced combat. There is dashing available. You can dash forward, strafe side to side. Right now we chose a somewhat easy dungeon for us to do, just because we do want to show you guys completed content towards the end. But yeah, dungeon difficulty does scale in relation to the in regards to party composition. Alias. So apparently Alias is an item in front of them, and if you're looking at my screen right now, there is nothing but a dead carcass. So what's cool about Big Time and how they handle loot is that every loot within dungeons is instance based. What does that mean? It means that you don't have to worry about your friends stealing the loot that you get. Any loot that you get is rolled for you and you alone. You have an equal chance of getting it. Okay. And once it drops, you can choose the option to share it with your teammates, but you don't have to. If Alias clicks on the share button right now, which might be R or something from otherwise, I think he just shared it and then picked it back up. You can see, yeah. So you see these coins in front of me. That was just shared. If you look at my screen, you can see an item. I have the option to F to pick up, left alt for full details, and then the right bracket to share. I can share this to my teammates and they can pick it up as they want. Why is that useful? Well, a few reasons. Number one, you don't have to worry about your teammates, being upset that you got something really cool, and maybe you might want to hide the fact that you got a super rare NFT, right? Another one, would be you just don't want anyone to know what you got and potentially cause any sort of difficulties within the party.
Can you put the skin on now? Like how much does it change your appearance? Like does it change it a lot?
Yeah, so within the demo build currently, NFTs are not NFTs are not part of the demo build as of right now, but yeah, there will be a section where you will be able to apply your skins onto your character, and it would basically overlay what you currently have, right? So you can see my inventory right now. I have different, slots for different gear. I have like a helmet slot, I have a necklace slot, I have one for a chest piece, so on and so forth. If I, let's say, come across, an NFT that is like maybe a two-handed weapon, that's like maybe a sickle, 2 sickles that are like, glowing with fire, then I can absolutely apply that over what I currently have, and I'll be wielding that instead in terms of cosmetics. But NFTs within Big Time themselves are not going to provide any sort of gameplay advantage in the sense that it'll augment your stats. Big Time is not
So
going to be pay to win.
How are you gonna know if, like, let's say you get a weapon
Mhm.
and obviously the weapons aren't NFT because they're, I guess, you can use them and then you put the skin on top of that. So how are you gonna be able to tell if it's like an NFT or
Yeah.
just an in-game weapon that's not an NFT? Is there gonna be like a little
Indicator.
icon?
Correct. Yeah, there'll be an indicator letting you know whether or not you get an NFT. Everything right now that you see in front of you, these are all non-NFTs. There will be two different types of equipment within the game. You have the non-NFT based items that will, provide you stats and, augment your actual character in terms of, abilities and stats. And then you have the NFTs, which will augment your the cosmetic aspect of your character, making you super unique and cool.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Thanks.
No problem. So actually, while we're on the topic of equipment, let's discuss that a little bit. So what I personally enjoy about Big Time is that Big Time really stresses the idea of varied gameplay. You're never going to be pigeonholed into playing one specific type of way. So what do I mean by that? Well, in your traditional MMO, right, you have a mage, and if you are a mage class, you're almost always going to be wielding a staff. You have no say in that, right? Like that's just mages wield staffs. That's it in traditional MMO. In Big Time, however, classes are not weapons are not class bound, and classes are not restricted to only using certain types of equipment. Equipment in Big Time is actually bound by your stats. So depending as to what sort of stats that you have on your character, that will detail what kind of equipment you can wear. In this case, I've kind of focused on dexterity because I want to go for a pure ninja build. However, if I put some more points into strength, I might start, and you can see this item over here, this chopper tier 7. At the bottom tooltip, you can see required strength of at least 30. I currently have 20 strength. If I had more strength, I can start wielding some of the other types of weapons that are available to me. And I think that's what's really unique about Big Time. You know, you're not bound by a specific way of playing. I can go more into that once we talk about pocket watches.
I guess a little question on that is there, like, if you're a mage, will you be the strongest if you have a staff, or it depends like where you put your skill points?
Actually, that's a really great question. So currently, we do have a pre-alpha going on, and people who were lucky enough to be selected in that, and we've just seen a whole variety of different types of ways that people are playing with classes. And yes, while some people like to go for the pure, like let's say mage build in your case, right, where they are wielding a staff, we've seen some people not go for the pure mage build because yeah, sometimes your skills can make the difference between how effective you are versus just a weapon alone. That doesn't mean that the weapons are ineffective. They add a lot of value there, but your skills also play equally as much of an impact on the gameplay itself, just beyond your weapons.
Yeah, because I know there's I guess in all these games, there's always like the peer builds, and people are looking at what the best builds and most efficient ways of going through dungeons. So
Exactly. There's always like penalties, right? In some other games,
yeah,
where you're like, oh, well, you're a mage trying to wield heavy armor. Well, now you're going to be penalized by this, or that. And in Big Time, it's really, your equipment is going to be stat bound, and as a result, there really isn't a penalty per se beyond you can't wield the equipment that you would want to wield otherwise because you focus your stat points on something over another. Does that help answer some of your questions?
Yeah.
In regards to that. Awesome.
appreciate it, yeah.
Glad to hear. Also, welcome by the way, Andrew. I just saw you joined. Thank
Oh,
you for
I've been
joining
here.
us.
What's up? This
Hey,
is
what's up?
awesome.
How
Love
are
it.
you? I'm glad to hear. Thanks for joining. I just want to reiterate a disclaimer from earlier. Please note that the recording or screenshots of this demo is not allowed. However, if you do ask at the end of the demo, I will be able to provide an exclusive screenshot to you. And that so long as you tweet us at Play Big Time, give us your honest impressions, and are more or less a community advocate. We'll be reaching out to you, providing you with a Ruby VIP pass, which gives you exclusive access to exclusive NFTs before the general public. They'll let you play before anybody else. Basically, is what I'm saying, before the general public. So I'll start talking about pocket watches and character builds in a moment. I just want to kind of clear some of these guys out as soon as my teammates come in. I think they're dealing with some other mobs now.
I'm on that gold pass. I can't wait for this.
Oh, absolutely. Did you see the charts for the different passes and the drop
Oh
rates?
yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
yeah.
I've been following Big Time for like forever, man. So
Nice, that's awesome.
I've been counting down the days, and there's still no official date. So I'm definitely waiting on that.
Well, I guess, because I know you did mention me earlier. I think we had
Yeah,
a correspondence in DMs. You know,
yeah.
because I know we also had very limited information as to the gameplay itself. Based on what you've seen, and like what are your impressions so far?
I mean, I'm loving it so far. I love. Maybe some people prefer like a lot more realistic or whatever. I guess art, but I love like kind of has like Fortnite vibe.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna help a lot when you guys are like doing new seasons or whatever. You go
hmm
back in time, or you go to like if you have super high graphics, it's hard to like keep iterating and having new dungeons and all that. And
Right. Yeah. So actually, no, that's a great point that you make. So basically, Big Time is going for the stylized sort of design. And what's great about stylized designs is that they don't really age, right? Like let's look at Minecraft, let's look at, Fortnite and plenty of other games, who followed the stylized designs. It doesn't age because it was never, ever super high quality realistic, right? You look
yeah,
at other games that were quote unquote considered to be the highest quality and as realistic of their time, they are now super dated because they're predated by
yeah.
they're
Even
being succeeded by other games.
even you play a couple years and it'll be outdated. So it's like
Exactly. So this allows Big Time to essentially stand the test of time in regards to upcoming
yeah.
games and engines and whatnot. It gives the team more flexibility as well to create content, more content rather for that matter. Now, I guess while my teammates work on that, I may as well describe something a little bit earlier. So, how do skills in Big Time work? Well, I think it's best shown if I switch between my pocket watches, which I'll also discuss in a bit. This character is intentionally naked. I kind of took some armor off of it because I switched to a different character. I gotta kill this guy first. Sorry. Mike and Alias, are you guys able to help me out over here real quick? There's a guy chasing me. Thanks. All right. So, how do skills work in Big Time? Well, by default, let's say you join the game, right? You join Big Time, you created your character. Now you're going to be asked to choose a class. Okay. Once you choose your class, you're given what's called a pocket watch. Okay. And this pocket watch is called the starter pocket watch. In this case, I'm using a quantum fixture starter pocket watch, and it's going to be tier 0. What does that mean? Well, basically, you can think of pocket watches akin to a character slot, if that kind of helps it define it in layman's terms. Okay. And with your pocket watch, you're able to, equip, use your character. You can have your equipment on it, so on and so forth. Okay. And when you go to your skill trees, you can see in this case, because my pocket watcher is tier 0 and a starter pocket watch, by default, I don't really have that many skills. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 active skills. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, that's pretty lackluster. That's actually intentional because Big Time plans on adding a lot of replayability in terms of how you expand your skill trees, right? So again, 5 active skills in Big Time. Kill certain mobs, kill dungeons, beat dungeons, kill bosses. You'll be able to come across what's called a Pocket Watch gem. And what a gem does, it augments your skill trees by expanding the available skills you have available to you. So in this case, if you look at the tooltips for this Pocket Watch gem, you can see that this tooltip, which again, Dev Goggles On, is currently for the subtree of Fix or Nullify, and it offers 3 ability unlocks. If I equip it by using the right-click button, you can see that instead of 5 active skills, I now have a total of 8. But what if I come across Pocket Watch gems that I want to equip that are not specifically just this specific type, right? Like, what if I come across one that's not for the Nullify, branch, and, well, switching between the gems is that's definitely an option, but it's definitely not viable, and it is a little bit boring. Well, introducing the different types of tiers of pocket watches. We have, as you can see over here, I have a quantum fixture pocket watch that's tier 4. Okay, going back really quickly just so we don't lose track. I only have access to 1 gem slot in the quantum in my starter pocket watch. If I were to switch to my tier 4 pocket watch, again, quantum fixer, and you can see it's a bit more decked out because again, think of it as a character slot. You can see I have access to now 3 pocket watch gems, and by extension, my skill tree becomes that much more massive. So players are always going to keep grinding. What's the incentive to keep playing the game, to keep, doing these dungeons and whatnot? It's not just to get to the highest level, but it's to come across and finding the most rarest pocket watches that are available out there. Let's see, what's this? This is a pocket watch gem. Oh, I'll grab it. Thanks, guys. It's not just to, be the highest level possible, but also to find the rarest pocket watches, expanding upon what you already have. Because once you get a new pocket watch, that's essentially a new character slot. You start at level 1. You got to level it all up again. And you can't just get power level through the game. This forces players at a high level to interact with players who are at a lower level, right? Because again, if you can't get power level because your XP is capped based off of certain parameters, then you have the community interacting with each other's in, more than just the economic sense, but also in the, dungeon playing sense and so on. Does anybody have questions about that? All right, cool. If at any point you guys have questions, don't hesitate to unmute your microphones. If there's something you want to see, or a question about what you've seen or what you haven't seen, don't hesitate to ask. We're also joined today by Ryan and Michael, who are basically our big time experts in everything that is economy related in the NFT space. So don't hesitate to ask if you have questions in regards to that.
I guess I've been the only one really asking questions, but
No, please go ahead.
what are what's the gold currency you guys have there? I know there's obviously the big time tokens you're gonna be able to earn.
Mm-hmm.
What's like the gold coins gonna be used for?
So yeah, there's multiple types of, well, at the moment that I'm aware of, there's 2 different types of currency within Big Time. You have the gold currency, which you're seeing me pick up, and these gold coins are only interacting within the space of the non-NFT based items, right? So for example, you can see that I have X amount of like 61,000 gold. This allows me to interact with vendors within the game to purchase different types of equipment, skills,
Ones that like improve
and
your
so forth.
stats and stuff. All that?
Exactly, but it's not in relation to the NFTs themselves.
Gotcha. And then those like, I guess what's that in the top right corner that has 3? It has like a shield to it.
That is a work in progress that I can't comment too much on. But yeah, it's basically just a developer testing asset.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
No, that's actually a really great observation. I think you're the only person who's actually commented on that, and that's a really that's a great observation.
Yeah, well, I'm actually super excited for this game. So
Yeah. So it's really cool though. But like going back to before, I mean, what I really love about Big Time is just the variability, right? Like the fact that I can switch in between different classes. Currently, there is no penalty. If I want to be a time warrior, I can be a time warrior in the middle of a dungeon. At the moment, there's no penalty. At the moment, there's no cooldown. So, some people they, might think, well, this is OP, blah blah blah. Where's the fairness in this? I want to have other teammates. Well, that's where people are wrong. Number one, you're gonna have to level up each individual class. So, of course, the more that you, the more you diversify in terms of your pocket watches, right, the less specialized you are. And the other aspect behind it is, you can flex, to fit the needs of the party. Let's say you're in a party, full of everybody who has time warriors, but no one's a healer. One of you guys might say, hey, well, I have a really cool pocket watch for the Quantum Fixer. I can be that Quantum Fixer and be the supportive character for the dungeon. You can do that. And there's times where I've had to switch it.
One question real quick.
Sure.
What's the in-game currency you guys were talking about? That was only going to be dropping in-game. I thought I heard something about that, or am I mistaken?
No, you're correct. This is the no, just the gold coins. I mean, it's
okay.
probably that's the working name for it at the moment. That doesn't mean that's going to be what it is in live, but this only interacts with the non-NFT based items within the game, and the items that give you stats, that augment your
I think
character.
you may have been referring to the big time token, right?
Yeah,
page.
I'm talking about what is your like
because how they're not releasing a token, and it's going to be all like 100% earned through in-game playing, and those are the tokens you're going to be able to
right
be used to upgrade your NFTs and stuff.
But you're saying this is all gold is just used for everything that's not even on chain, no NFTs. So what's
Right.
like your crypto that is going to be driving the economy in the marketplace?
Yeah, that would be the big time token itself,
Okay.
and that's earned by having a timekeeper who produces an hourglass. So long as you have sand within that hourglass, and so long as that hourglass is running with sand, you'll be able to earn the big time token after completing dungeons, after killing monsters and bosses. That token can then be used, like you said earlier, to upgrade your NFTs via the Forge. That token can also be used to interact with an exclusive traveling vendor that has a rotating slot of very exclusive and NFTs, and can also be used for the challenge room within the space, where you can summon bosses and monsters, effectively, and there's going to be certain parameters that you need to do to clear out said monsters, and if you do so, then you can also get some more exclusive NFTs.
Is that going to be like a guarantee if you use a token for that? Is that going to be like a guaranteed if you kill the boss you'll get the NFT, or there's just like a higher % chance, or how would that work?
To my knowledge, there are going to be parameters that are needed to be, certain factors that you need to hit. But the team hasn't published too much information on that yet. I think Ryan might be able to expand upon that.
Yeah, so that part of the economy hasn't been released to the public yet. So definitely stay up to date with our social media feeds, and then we'll have some really interesting news coming out in the coming weeks and months.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. The main point I'm basically trying to drive home is that Bigtime, they have token sinks, which is important, as much as earning the token itself, right? If all there is just owning a token and there's no token sinks, then you have a very inflated economy. That's not sustainable.
Yeah.
In the long term. All right. We have actually 1 minute left in this dungeon. We might not be able to complete the boss dungeon by this demo. So I'm going to start wrapping this up. I'll take one more question, but before I do want to kind of rehash what I mentioned earlier. If you send a message now into screenshot requests, I'll be sending you guys exclusive screenshots that are sanctioned by Bigtime. Once you receive that screenshot, I'll send you a message, like, hey, you can tweet @play Bigtime. Once you tweet Bigtime with that exclusive screenshot, your impression, someone from the team will reach out to you, provide you a Ruby VIP pass, which is currently an exclusive offer that's only going out for a very limited time, and that will give you access to the game before the general public, allowing you to earn exclusive NFTs before anybody else. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I posted already some of the pictures that I got from Ryan.
Awesome. Well, no, thank you so much. Yeah, and we'll definitely have someone from the team reach out to you guys about that. I'm about to get ready to stop my stream. I'll take one more question, because I did promise that with you guys. And yeah. Does anybody else have a final question that they want to ask?
I'm all
Awesome.
good. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thank you guys for joining us, for being a part of this demo and experience.
Dude, this is hype as fuck. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys want to, by the way, you guys are welcome to join the next session as well, which is starting now. So I'm gonna start moving the team down to the 8:30 p.m. EST channel. You guys are welcome to join. Any questions that you may have had unresolved in this session, you can definitely ask them in the next one. Okay.
Awesome. And you said, where do we message for screenshots? Just in the chat, the general
Yeah,
chat?
at screenshot requests. Yeah, and I'll reach out to you and send that out to you.
Awesome.
Right about now. I'll start getting the next channel ready, and I'll start getting those screenshots out. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. No
Let's
problem.
go get his ass.
All right. Let me let's move us down real quick. You guys are again welcome to join. Taken care of. Anyone who's currently in game, I want you to return to lobby, please. Let me get these screenshots out of here.
Hey, Gray.
Hey, what's up?
I was just gonna say, can you confirm that the tweet was sent out and let me know about the pass and all that stuff too? But I gotta head off, and I wouldn't mind you sending me another screenshot though for the video I'm gonna make. But just I'm gonna send you a DM too. But all right, I gotta go.
Okay, I tagged you in the screenshot request channel. I'm gonna hit you guys up, so you don't have to just look at your ping. I'm gonna send it out to you right now. Okay.
All right.
And yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, thanks for joining. I appreciate it.
Thank you.